Hello everyone, I am Karsten Keller. I am the writer, director, and editor of Nicus Stuff. Episode 46, A World Without Super Mario Odyssey. And this video, I'm just going to be going through the editing timeline because this is quite a chunky episode. I know it looks really simple here, and if we zoom out, it's one straight line except for the ending. I did a little, I think I did the credits in this part, yeah. But if you look over here at the actual projects area, you see this one is called Final Cut, and that's because for simplicity's sake, I didn't want to have a 32-minute long file with a bunch of different layers and stuff like that. Just to keep things simple, I had multiple projects. See, there are 6 of them. So we have zoom out, I'll get to that, review segment, ending, live action, final cut, opening. I guess that's 6, yeah, okay. So, yeah, we're just gonna go through all 6 of those. So, of course, let's start with the opening. And this was, of course, the first thing, done, so edited too. So, let's go ahead and zoom out here. And I mean, even if you look at, the other thing was a straight timeline, but if you look at this, you can see, just like the White Castle episode, there are just layers. It's very fun. So, let's zoom in here so we can get a better look at things. And, it's pretty simple at the beginning. Just have some simple text fading in and out, just kind of title cards, stuff like that. And then we get to this here. I made this 3D just to make it, I don't know, a bit more interesting to look at. There isn't really much of a reason. I kind of felt like it. I was in a little conniving mood. And then we have the A World Without Super Mario Odyssey logo, and I spent a good 15 minutes on just top thing, because obviously on the bottom you just have Super Mario Odyssey, that logo, and what I was trying to do is I was trying to make this look like, at its final form, it's just it's added on top, and it looks okay. I had to download a Mario font and add it in the Final Cut, and then try and figure out how to simulate the way that it kind of pops out. I tried to do that with 3D text, and it turned out pretty decent. I think it looks pretty good. It was just kind of hard trying to figure out which direction the text would be facing, and then keyframing it to kind of move with the logo. But in the end, I think it looks pretty good, especially since it's only there for, I guess it's there for 8 seconds. I don't even remember it being there that long. But then we just have a couple other basic credits, not really much to say there. And then we start to get to the interesting stuff. So first off, I think, I did some color correction on here just to make it a little bit brighter, a little more interesting to look at. And then also, I need to select this clip. As always, doing color correction. I don't know what this one is, but yeah, as always, do color correction on these scenes because it honestly makes such a difference. It's weird, but some alternating shots of the cartridge. I think there was also, just to make colors pop a little more, get a little life into it. 'Cause, I don't know. It's a really simple shot. I don't even think, I don't, do a different kind of color setting for each one. Or I think I did for this one. I'm not sure. I don't think I have the saturation messed with on the other ones. No, I do. I think, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, yeah, so, this is just my default color setting. Again, I kind of want to change it a bit next year, but, it just helps the colors pop. Color correction makes such a difference. It's kind of wacky. I kind of don't really like that I went so long without it, but I was using Windows Movie Maker. I couldn't really do anything about it. But then we have, let's kind of move on, and then we have our first kind of voiceover section. It's pretty simple, just some gameplay of the game. Yeah, I don't really think there wasn't anything done to this. I think, yeah, no. It just simple as it gets, just talking over that. Then we have the, when I get up to go to the game shelf, and I think there's some noise here that I didn't really like. I think it was just to give a clean transition to over here. I go to the shelf and I pick a game. I'm pretty sure on this too. Yep. Color correction, always. Kind of wish there wasn't a jump cut here. It's kind of my fault. and then we have on the couch. There we go. This is like the first complicated thing that there is actually stuff to say about editing wise in this video. So the idea is to make it look like, or not to make it look like, but to show that, you know, I try to start up the game and it gives, you know, the error message. The problem is when I recorded it in the normal setting, whenever the screen goes dark, whenever I recorded it with all the lights on, when the screen goes dark, you can see me and the phone in the reflection, and it looks pretty bad. You can see I'm just standing there making sure it's looking good on the screen. So that was definitely an issue. So what I did was I actually recorded it again. So I recorded it like with the lights on, and then I left the thing recording, and then I went and turned off the lights, and then I recorded the same thing. Gotta put the layer back on. But I recorded the same thing, now completely in the dark, because then whenever the screen goes black, well, there's no, you know, reflection. I just drew a mask. It was really simple. You just draw them on the TV. You know, the TV is straight, so you just I just put a point in each corner, and you know, it looks pretty good. So you have the screen from the darkness recording overlaid on the lights on. So, you know, I could have shown the TV with the lights off, but the problem is the lights are on here, the lights are on here, so why would the lights be off? You know, that's just an error with continuity. So yeah, I just did that, and you know, it was a little outside the box thinking, but it's pretty, I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously there's the whole issue of recording, you know, screens in the dark, where whenever like white comes back, it just kind of like flashes a bit too much before you can actually see what it says, which is pretty annoying. But you know, it's, you know, tolerable, especially considering how much, you know, worse it could look, see me in the reflection. And even then, you know, even if I was to be in the reflection, we'll still have the same issue. So yeah, then we have the desk shots. This is really similar to the Woo Studio. This is really similar to the Woo Studio episode. Same color correction, same, you know, mirroring. Or actually, did I mirror this? Yeah, it's mirrored. So yeah, same, all that stuff. And then we have, oh look, it's the game's anniversary. That was really simple, just some zoom in stuff like that. I like how this looks, where I kind of, as soon as my head starts turning, then it cuts to where it's swinging over to the games. That looks pretty good. I think, did I do color correction on this too? Oh yeah, you know me. You know my little color correcting. I don't know, I mean, it's definitely cooler, but I think it could have been a little bit better. Is this the default? No, I did some different stuff, because this is, or I guess, did I? Yeah, no, so I did its own unique color correction. It looks okay. I mean, this is a, you know, 2-second clip, so it really doesn't matter. And then turn back. And that is the opening. So the opening's pretty simple, not really much to it. And then we go to the review segment, and this is the biggest segment, the biggest part, and this is 20 minutes and 15 seconds. And if we were to zoom out of the whole thing, especially towards the beginning, yeah, there's quite a few layers. And then even towards the end, you know, even though it's just really not many layers at all, it's still like a lot of cutting. And you know, this was the most exhausting part of the video, reviewing the, you know, the actual game segment, because editing it's not, you know, hard. You know, it's just finding what I'm talking about, or just finding suitable footage to go over, you know, what I'm talking about, and then, you know, cut to the next thing I'm talking about. It's not hard to edit, it just takes a while, and it's just not, you know, fun. But what is fun, and what was fun, was editing the beginning of the video. As complicated as it was, I'm really happy with how the beginning of the review segment is. So, first off, we got good old picture of Mario. There's no background, there's no background, so I put a white behind him, and he just does some keyframing as he zooms in, and it looked pretty good. And then we have a compilation clip here. This was to show all the other episodes where I've talked about Mario games. So we have, in a compilation clip, we have the background gradients, then we have, you know, some shots from all the episodes, and I'm pretty sure this is just one. Yeah, these are just single clips from each episode. And then on top of that, we have the titles also placed accordingly. It was a little tricky trying to like get all these situated in a place where, you know, they're the same size, they're the same, you know, distance away from each other, all organized and stuff like that. But it looks pretty good. So that was the first, you know, what's the word? Compound clip. That's right, compound clip. But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty decent. It gets the point across. Then we have this segment here. This one was a little tricky to edit. I'm gonna turn off snapping because it's not really necessary right now. But we can do something like that. Okay. But so basically, first off, it was keyframing. I had it zoom out a bit, and I needed it to be pretty much at the beginning point at this part, because there's where I throw the game at the wall. And I recorded this in 3 like segments, kind of like I just had it still, and then there's a shot of me grabbing the cartridge, and then I stopped moving, because I mean, if as the camera starts running, you can see it's not there anymore. Arm's not there anymore. And then the camera turns, and the thing is, I didn't want to like rush it, because, you know, you can cut out the in-between time in editing. Yeah, and then so the camera turns. I think I might have sped that up a bit, and then you can especially see like the cut here. I'm not sure why. I think it's because the like actual hard stop. But then there's, you know, me throwing the game at the wall. I think there were a couple tries of me throwing the game at the wall. Let me go back. There's a lot of clips. So let's see if I can find back when I filmed this. I think this was part of the opening. Yeah. Or no, that's some of the opening shots. Here it is. Wait. Han. Is that the same as the actual final shot? It might be, I'm not sure, I don't really care. But I think there are a couple takes where I was throwing it against the wall. It was, I don't know, it wasn't as, like, impactful as I wanted it to be, but, you know, it's fine. Then we just have this shot, you know, keyframe, la-di-da, and, you know, that's what a lot of the beginning of this episode is. It's really just keyframing, which, as I've said multiple times before, you know, keyframing isn't hard, just takes a while. It's arcade cabinets keyframed to get the Mario gameplay, or the Donkey Kong gameplay, my bad. And that's also got keyframing. So like this one, you know, it moves from Mario to Pauline and Donkey Kong. Then we got, let's see, for the censored part, what I did was, so whenever I say sex, this censored thing pops up, and then also to kind of keep Donkey Kong blurred, really simple Gaussian blur that just makes him look like he's actually censored, because, you know, we can't be showing Donkey Kong to the kids. Then more keyframing. Oh, there's the watermark there. Dang it, I wish I had noticed that beforehand. But yeah, you know, just keyframing, more keyframing, zooming on Luigi, Mario Bros. Gameplay. And, you know, another issue that I ran into, I was trying to make interesting looking keyframing. Like, at the beginning, you know, it was pretty easy, like, oh, it can come out from the side. Then we got Mario 1 gameplay. I'm pretty sure the raw footage is, I'm pretty sure the raw footage was like 16, yeah, the raw footage was 16 by 9. This is the same Mario 1 clip that I used from Super Mario Galaxy is pretty good. And for some reason, it's in 16 by 9, but it's just that the game is stretched, so I just squished it back. I don't think it's 1-to-1 4x3, but it looks, you know, good enough. And we have more keyframing as we zoom out on the NES box. Then we have Mario Bros. 2 and 3. Again, keyframing, la-di-da. And then this is a funny shot. So for this, I had to have my friend Bo help. I just basically took his phone, added my number to it, and then on my phone I changed his name to Mom, and then I texted myself that, and I responded on my own too. And then that's also Brooks up there. It's the profile picture, just for funsies. But you know, I didn't really want to actually ask my mom, hey, can you text me this? So it was just really simple to do it that way. And then I also added a black bar here to hide the date. It was Thursday, October 20th, but it wouldn't make sense for a video to come out on, I don't know. I don't really need this to be, I mean, it was implied that it took place on October 27th, so it'd be weird for it to say October 20th. So that was just there to keep things simple. And then we have Mario 3, pretty simple. More keyframing. And again, you know, you can see I was trying to add variety. This one kind of rotates a little bit. This one comes down from the top. And then we reach the green screen part. So basically what I was doing is when I was talking about Mario's like spin-offs, I wanted like a, you know, like showing all the boxes, and then during it zooms out. And I wanted like the boxes to, when the box changes, it's like the same size as the last one. So for simplicity, I just went into a separate project, had a green layer, and then just did it all in that. Then I just took it to the review segment, keyed it, and then did the keyframe zoom outs. It looks pretty good for the most part. The one problem is whenever Yoshi's Island fades out, you can see some of the green. You know, that's a little annoying. But for the N64 games, it zooms back in. I think, yeah, does a little twist out with Mario Party. Again, you know, keyframing, easy, just takes time. And that's also pinnacle of this box, or this shot. You know, wasn't difficult, but man, I probably spent a good, you know, 5-10 minutes doing that, making sure all these blurs are synced up with each other. And then in 64, that spins in just because, oh, it's more interesting than it coming out from the left as the other ones. I had it come out in the middle and then move to the left. Again, variety, trying to actually make it interesting, because not only is it more appealing if they have different transitions, but it's also more interesting to edit, instead of being like, oh, it's time to, you know, have the N64 start off screen and then come on screen from the side. You know, it's a little more fun to be like, oh, you know, this is a creative way that I can make the console, you know, come on screen. We got Mario 64 gameplay, Mario Sunshine. This one just kind of pops in. I don't know, I don't really care that much. It's fine. And then we have the DS. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I just kind of stopped carrying around here. I was just like, I can't really think of any others. But, you know, it still looks good. I mean, I at least think it looks good. And I think for this, like the New Super Mario, or not the, yeah, so like the Mario 1 gameplay, this was also stretched into 16:9. That's really simple fix, just transform it, squish it back down. And then this is a combine clip for some reason, or a compound clip. Okay, I'm not sure why that was compounded together, but there's that. And then there was the Super Mario Galaxy fade, and I wish I would have figured out how to make the edges, you know, not hard, but, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. At least I think so. Then we got Super Mario Galaxy, which is actually, yeah. And then we have this one. Took me a good, I don't know, like a 20 minutes. This is a very funny one. So this is a compound clip. So compound clip. So when we go in here, there's actually two compound clips. So in the bottom compound clip, at the top you have the white bars that separates each of the games. So the point of the shot was to just show, oh, Mario's evolution. You know, we start with the earliest on the left and the, you know, latest on the right, to just be like, oh, you know, Mario's evolution was really apparent and was, you know, pretty impressive. So just to separate each area, I had the white lines. I just do that together in Google Drawings just because it's really, really fast and simple. And then, yeah, I just have gameplay from all the games, and I just had to, like, crop it to make it, yeah, I just cropped it to, you know, make it, like, fit within the confines. I don't know why it took me so long to say that, but it, you know, just to make it fit within the confines of the white lines. Wanted to keep Mario in the middle, so you can, you know, be like, oh, you know, there's Mario. You know, there's his 8-bit, 16-bit, 64, GameCube, and Wii versions. And then after that, in its own separate layer, just because I didn't want, like, a billion layers, I have all the consoles. Just put them there, add a little drop shadow to them. And the other annoying thing is that all the pictures of them that I could find on the internet had white background, so I had to go to a background remover. Thankfully, you know, it doesn't take long, it's just tedious. Or, I mean, it's not hard, it just takes a bit. That's what I was looking for. But, yeah. But in the end, it looks pretty good. You know, it looks really good, actually, dare I say, not to toot my own horn. But then we have, you know, more keyframing, woo-woo. I always try my best to not let the boxes, like, collide with, or, like, anything collide with the top of the screen once it comes out, or have them collide. I think it happened earlier with, I think, Super Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3. It's a little bit later. Oh, it's after Super Mario World. Where was it? Was it here? Yeah, it was here. So, like, right, yeah, here, I guess they're, like, a tad bit apart, but it looks like they, like, touch each other, which I try my best to avoid because I don't really think it looks that great. I kind of like, you know, there being space in between them. You know, maybe it was a little too much space in between them here, but I think it's fine. I don't really care that much. Then we have, you know, 3DS. Once again, just come out from the left and right. Wow, how magical. 30 Worlds, stuff like that. I actually got this from the Bowser's Fury episode because I already had it in the project. Let's see, I already had it in the project because I needed the actual episode in this project because I was using a clip of me talking about. Here it is. Here's the Bowser's Fury episode. Oh, here it is right here. Just the, or no, that's the 3D World gameplay. Here's the 3D Land gameplay. I just took it from that because I didn't really need to download the trailer again. And then we have, you know, Wii U, all good old fade in, and then, you know, zoom in. Just the tiniest hints of variety. And then we have 3D World gameplay, la-dee-da. Then we have this timeline. I whipped this together in Google Drawings too. The really annoying thing is that, like, when I downloaded it, it was, like, really low quality. Let's see if I can find, yeah, oh yeah, here. This is what it looks like, and, you know, it looks fine here, but then you try to zoom in so you can do that thing, and it's just, like, really low quality, and it's just like, that's disgusting, I don't like that. So instead what I did was, get that out of there. I took a screenshot, so if we transform it, yeah, you can see I just took a screenshot of it, and thankfully it keeps its resolution pretty well. I wonder how much I can, it looks a little rough, but I mean, it's mostly fine. Oh, I should not have done that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you know, when you, I mean, like, I just wanted to zoom in this much, and, you know, they still look pretty high quality. You know, they're not like blurry messes, so I just had to do a screenshot instead of downloading it, because for some reason it downloaded in a lower quality. It's just like, why? And then I think this is when the editing starts to get simple, where it's just like, okay, we're just chopping up clips, you know, oh, there's some keyframing, stuff like that. There's a little fade here, wow. A little keyframing as I talk about the title. But I think, yeah, I mean, from here on out is really just me, you know, talking about the game, and there's really nothing much to say. You know, you just kind of do it. It's not hard. It just takes a long time, or it took a long time, because thankfully this thing is done. And the last thing I want to talk about in this segment is this. This whole thing. This is a very fun part to edit. It starts here with the zoom in, and then there's a glitch green screen thing that I just downloaded. And then we have a compound clip here because this is just a monster with a lot of stuff. So at the bottom we have, I think, I don't remember what this was. I know something. I know I hold on. Yeah, okay, so I took the you got a moon sound effect. I'm pretty sure. Let me try this. I'm pretty sure I took the you got a moon sound effect. No, I did I don't know what that is. I guess this is reversed. No, I think I did the you got a moon sound effect, and then I just added a bunch of, yeah, I added a phaser to it. Let's try that. I don't know, but yeah, there's that, and then there's the actual layer of, let's just get rid of all these layers and then kind of just go up from there. So here we have the base layer, and then let's just get rid of all that and the weird transforming stuff like that. This was the raw shot, and then I zoomed it in a bit to make it a little slanted, and then effects, I changed up the colors, make it a little kind of greenish. Not sure what droplet does, unless it's on. Yeah, I'm not sure what droplet does. The background squares kind of chops it up into squares. Actually, that's droplet. It adds a little, like, circle around the clip that kind of distorts it a bit. You can't really notice that with background squares. And then fisheye, that kind of made it zoom in, kind of like that. Crop and feather, I don't know why that's there. But yeah, there was that, and then there was this kind of like psychedelic green screen that I had the opacity on this down a little bit, because I didn't want to like completely cover me with it. I wanted you to still be able to see me. And there's another one here, and once again, you know, same thing. And then we have like the weird things, the Wii U, which is barely noticeable. Oh, there it is. It just kind of flies across the screen a bit. And then there is the DS. That's more noticeable. It's, you know, been lightened and it just kind of flies through. And the new Super Mario Bros. Wii, that's like low opacity, but it's pretty noticeable. Or no, not pretty. It's just really noticeable. It just kind of zooms in straight to the camera. And then starting here, in the top right, I think, yeah, you can see up there is this clip from Super Mario Odyssey. It's pretty sure it's just Bowser's laughing. All of that just to kind of show, like, oh, something weird's going on. And turns out, oh, he went to another universe, which takes place within this. Let me get to it. There's a lot of stuff in here. Just look at all that stuff. And I have it like zoomed out all the way. But he gets taken to this horrifying live-action universe. No. And yeah, there's a little editing here, just a bunch of layers, nothing crazy like that. And this was all edited in color, just so I had a more like, I mean, it was just for like simplicity's sake. It'd be really annoying to add the black and white to every single clip when I really could have just, you know, edited it in color, then in the final project put it in, you know, just put it in black and white at once. So we start pretty simple. He gets taken to the other universe, put it in the pocket as he walks up there. And this was a little tricky. I did this on my phone with, what's it called? PixArt. And yeah, I just, I think I just got like a Wii box template. I erased the logo from it, and then I put the new Super Mario Bros. Wii logo. And then another pretty annoying, so that was a pretty simple thing, but then I had to have it zoomed out on the shelf. Or no, what I did was I had the Lego Batman 2 box alone on the shelf. I think I can probably find the base image. Let's see where it is. Here it is. So if you see, yeah, you have Lego Batman 2 on the shelf there. And what I did was I just copied it multiple times, or I changed it to where it had the new Super Mario Bros. Logo, that I copied it a ton of times, put it on the shelf, and then I noticed it was alone on the bottom shelf, but it had this kind of like you know, the white line from its reflection. So I was like, you know, great, if, you know, if there's one that has a reflection, they kind of all need to have a reflection. So I did that again. It doesn't look the greatest, but I mean, in a pinch, it looks pretty decent. Can you tell that it's fake? Oh yeah, most definitely. You can tell that, oh, those games are not actually there, you know, those cases are not shaped like that. But, you know, in a pinch, and especially consider that I just tossed it together on my phone, I'm pretty happy with it. And let me go upstairs, and then we start to get to the complicated stuff. The green screen. This was some of the toughest parts. It was like they have to kind of like interact, and I wanted to make it look like big mistake that I shouldn't have done is that I actually stuck my arm out like I was actually, you know, going around myself. Big problem, if you put your arm, you know, behind someone, you're not able to see it, basically. So what I had to do was my favorite thing in the whole entire world, and that is masking. And I had to go frame by frame here to stop my arm, or yeah, to stop the arm from being seen. And then a little part of Grukin gets cut off, which I guess I didn't notice when I was editing. It took a while. It wasn't hard, but it took a while. That I feel like that's a really common trend with these, is that it's not hard, it just takes a while. But hey, you know, in a pinch. Hold on, let me go back. In a pinch, I mean, it's okay. I don't know, I guess. Then drop the game, jump back a bit, and, you know, there's just green screening, simple stuff like that. Not hard, just takes a while. And then we have the drive up, and then Nicus gets in the car, and this was another pretty tricky shot but it was, what I did was masking. So, wow, look at that, I'm not actually in the driver's seat when I get in the back seat. This was actually pretty easy. I just had to draw the line on the door, and then the masking clip ends as soon as, because like the way the windows are tinted, once the door is closed, you can't see me in there, so it doesn't really matter. I wasn't going to go through the pain of masking. Oh, I guess here you can see that I wasn't in there anymore. But, you know, this is a half-hour YouTube video that got like 150 views. I don't really care that much. And then go pick up the game. Pretty easy, stuff like that. Then we have the first meeting of them. It was a little tricky trying to get, I mean, I didn't really have any unique clips of like Kukin and Hukin like just standing there listening to the other. I had like one, but that's all there really was. So like every time Kukin's talking, Hukin just kind of looks at him and smiles. And then I also mirrored them, which I don't exactly, or I think it's just because whenever I was filming this, they're looking in the wrong direction. I don't know why that's not here. Oh, that is not right. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that's the base Hukin shot, facing the other way, and that's really just because, like, oh, Nicus is looking this way, so they need to be looking at Nicus, basically. That's the idea. It'd be weird for them to all be looking in the same direction, you know, continuity, all that stuff. Yeah, not really much to say there. And then we got the, Nintendo's office. And we have the introduction of, what's his name? Sukin, that's right. And then we have, yeah, he just walks in, and this is a little tricky. The window is zoomed in quite a bit. Yep, zoomed in quite a bit. Just had to make sure I get the editing right of like, oh, he grabs it right. You can kind of see it cut off there. But then he's looking at the game. He's talking about it. So for this scene, I had Grukin. You can see that like usually like whenever like a background character or something needs to be on screen but isn't doing anything, and there's just not enough of them, you know, not really doing anything, what I do is I reverse, or like I copy and paste, and then I just reverse it, and I copy and paste it, and then I reverse every other clip, so it, you know, you can tell that it's reversed, but it makes it look more consistent instead of just jumping around. And then I also added a Gaussian blur to it because, you know, that's kind of how cameras work. If there's something right, like, close to the camera that it's focused on, then things in the background are going to be blurry, including people. And then we have just him talking. I think... No, there's no cutoff there. I guess I saw a cutoff in a pinch. And then we have the kind of backstory. This was a very, you know, like, actual video type editing thing where it's just like, oh, zoom and stuff like that, but it was supposed to be simple. It was in black and white too, so it's just like, oh, I'll just do fade-ins. I don't really care that much about fantastic keyframing. If we were to make all this invisible, you can see on the bottom I was just standing close to the camera reading the script, and yeah, you know, kind of simple. This news article I made by myself. I'm a big guy. I did that. Let's see. I don't know how to stop the keyframing, but yeah, I just wrote that little blurb and had to just focus on that. And then this here is just a blurred out other green screen clip. Yep, there it is. Yep. And then we get into more simple kind of, or not simple, but it's pretty similar for all of these shots of in the warehouse. Then we have the time card from White Castle. Then we have, oh, he's outside Nintendo headquarters, which doesn't look very good in color, but you know, it works. Then we have another time card, and we're back in the not really warehouse, but like their base. And we have Grukin's dramatic entrance, like the hood raised and be like, oh, look who it is. Look who's come to save their skin. La-di fucking da. Let's see. We have talking, all that fun stuff. Then we have the meeting at the Nintendo headquarters where Undukin talks to Sukin. There really isn't much to it. It's pretty simple. And then we have the outside scene. The wind during this thing was a bitch. It was very windy and it was very annoying. And when I was filming, I was like, oh, I wonder if I can, you know, remove this in Final Cut Pro. So I look it up, and there's this video that's like, oh, wind remover for Final Cut Pro. And I'm like, oh, great. You know, that's cool. That's an actual setting in Final Cut Pro. I'm going to continue filming right now while it's windy because it can just be removed in post. A couple of days later, I get to editing these scenes and I look it up online, and it's like a $50 thing that you can add to Final Cut Pro. It's not like by Apple, who made Final Cut Pro. It was like a third-party thing, and it was their, you know, wind remover thing. It's just like $50. Gee, Google catfished me into thinking that there was a like default thing with Final Cut Pro, which is, you know, really annoying. That's just like a pet peeve that I have with Google, where it's just like, you know, anything can get on the top of Google and like really make you think that like you're, you know, in safe hands even though you're not. It's kind of like manipulative. It's like, oh yeah, there's a wind remover thing for Final Cut Pro. Oh, but it's $50, but we're not going to tell you that part. You know, we're going to make you think that it's actually a part of the default Final Cut Pro. Because, I mean, you can't check currently, but we're going to make you think that. So that was very annoying, and because of that, I couldn't get the wind out, which was really annoying. But, you know, you could still hear me speak. It wasn't that bad, I guess. And then we have this picture of a tornado siren. I don't know, there needed to be some kind of loudspeaker that Sukin would speak on. So I just got a picture from the internet, as you always do, and then we have them standing outside of headquarters. Pretty simple, using shot, stuff like that. And then we have this shot. This single shot is the reason that it did not come out on October 27th. So I had something going on in the afternoon, so I finished editing in the morning, or at least I thought I did. So I exported this live action part and that, or not, yeah, I exported the live action part, and then I added it to the final version, to the Final Cut file, and then once I finished that part, I exported it, and it took a while to export, but then I went off and did my thing, and by the time I came home, yeah, you bet, it was completely exported, and I was like, great, I'm just gonna upload this, it's gonna come out whenever it's done uploading, and we'll be good. So I do a scrub through it just to make sure everything's fine, and this shot, this one single shot, I forgot to add the key or two. So because of that, was still, like, let me see, it was like, nothing had been done to it. Nothing had been done to this single clip, it wasn't even cropped. Yeah, this is what the shot sounds like. So it's like walking down the hall, and then all of a sudden, here am my dumbass walking in front of the green screen. And it's like, that's not supposed to be there! So, because of that, I had to go back in. It was a really simple fix. It took all of 2 minutes, but that's the most annoying thing. It was a 2-minute fix, but I had to re-export this live action segment, and then I had to re-export the whole final thing, and it was just like, ugh, I was literally stressing that I was not going to be able to get it done by October 27th, to the point where I did make a delay video being like, hey, there might be a delay, and then I'm leaving for my thing in the early afternoon, and I'm like, dude, there's not going to be a delay. I'm very excited for this. So I go home and I check it, I'm like, oh, this is looking pretty good. And then there's just this one shot who just shits on everything. And it's just like, great, now I have to re-export everything twice. That was a headache. And the other problem is, while I was exporting live action segment, so basically that whole thing that afternoon, when I got home from the events in the early afternoon, I had like half an hour, and then I had to go out and film, because I had a film competition that weekend, and we had to make a film before we went, so we were filming that night, from like 6:30 to, I think I got home at like 11:30 that night. It was a very long night, even though I didn't do anything, because I was very tired, but it was very annoying, because I did not, you know, I by the time I had to leave to go film, the live action segment was not done exporting, and what I should have done is, I should have taken my MacBook with me and just let it export while I was heading there, and, you know, while we were there, because I mean, we were there for 5 hours. It would have taken a while to export, but the thing is, you know, even if it took a long time to export, I would still be able to export it and upload it too, because I have a hotspot on my phone. So, you know, it's really just my fault that it didn't come out then. There were definitely sensible solutions there. I remember I was in my friend's car, and I was just like, dude, I was like, I should have brought my MacBook, man. I was exporting something. I could totally get it uploaded, because we're taking so long here. And I was like, yeah, you really should have. And I was just like, yeah, great. But yeah, you know, whatever, can't really do anything about it. But yeah, just this one shot just kind of ruined my whole afternoon, which is great. So after I got home from that, I couldn't just go straight to bed. Which I really wanted to. Instead, I had to wait for the last part to export, which, whew, and then I had to upload it, get everything ready, and because I wasn't awake for the premiere, I woke up at like 12 the next day. Yeah, it was not a fun day. But it got done. That's what matters. But yeah, this one shot delayed the whole video, which is, again, was really annoying, so I was like, oh, I'm actually going to get this done on time. And I was really happy about that, because leading up to it, I was like, am I really going to finish this on time? I don't really have much of an issue with delaying it, but, you know, I'd love to get it out on time. And I thought I was going to, but I didn't. I've been rambling on that for quite a bit. Let's get here. A couple layers here. We have a green screen portal. That's kind of fun. And then we have, it was a little tricky trying to have, and when I was filming this, I kind of forgot that Sukin was not handing him the game, I was just giving him a handshake. And then we have Nicus looking at Sukin and Hukin. This doesn't look the greatest, but I was kind of at that point where it's just like, I need to finish this, I need to leave soon, I don't really have time. That looks okay. You know, a little push. You know, does it look like I'm actually touching him? No. But, you know, whatever. Good enough. Run over. And pretty simple. Just green screening, stuff like that. And it's a little salute, and then he jumps in. I really like how this looks. I just kind of keyframe me going in there. Just jumps in and just, it looks kind of goofy. And that's the live action section. It's not a very long, or I mean, it's 7 minutes, which is pretty decent length, but you know, there was a lot of editing for this. This one took a bit too. And then we have the ending, which, whew. So this was the fight scene between Nicus and Sukin. And, yeah, so get back to the universe. This was pretty annoying to edit. There are a couple things, it's just like, this really could have looked a lot better. You know, there was, like, he kind of pops, I don't know, it's just like, some of like the framing stuff like that, some of the cuts are a bit too, like, he has his hands, or Nicus has his hands on the shelf, but they're like on his knees here, and it's just like, the positioning of everything is a little weird, but hey, it was done. This looks really weird, but it was kind of in the face of just like, I need to finish this, I don't really care that much. Let me get here, this is pretty decent. You can see my arm cut off there again, I was kind of in the I don't care face. But I think this looks pretty decent. The fall actually looks like he's knocked off the table. To pick up, you know, it doesn't really look that convincing. I'm kind of stepping on his nards. This, I could have masked, I just didn't care. Thinking back to it, I should have just done it with one. Well, I should have just done it with one arm instead of pretending to hold him. But I think that looks, you know, fine. The thing is, whatever. Who really cares? Continuity, by the way, the shelf that I'm hitting him against is on the left side of the room, and then this thing here is also on the left side of the room, just a little farther down. So that isn't, you know, there, right? But, you know, it doesn't really matter that much. We have the Al Capone's Pepto-Bismol part, and I don't know why I blurred the can. I think I wanted to make it seem like motion blur, and also so you couldn't tell that it wasn't actually Al Capone's Pepto-Bismol. So I blurred it, but I think it lingers on here too long for it to be like, oh, that's really cool, but no, it just kind of grabs the game. It's like, oh, I got it. You can tell it's green, but again, this is the point where it's just like, I do not care. And then we sit down and play the game a bit more, and then there's a, like, you know, black screen up to signify the ending, and then I exported that, tossed it into this final part here, added the the logo. I just copied and pasted. I used Parker's music. He made the Babam Battlefield remix. I added that over the credits, and that's a done deal. You know, I made this black and white, and I mean, besides that, that's really it. Yeah, that is, you know, the editing for A World Without Super Mario Odyssey. It was quite a lot. This is a pretty lengthy video. If you watched all the way through, that's pretty cool. You probably didn't, but hey, if you did, thanks. Hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully episode 50 is better. I haven't started work on it. I'm recording this on Tuesday, November 8th. It's election day, so I'm not in school, so I'm just at home recording this. But, you know, yeah, if you watched this, thanks for watching it. And, episode 50 gonna be a banger.